Hello, welcome. My name is Patrick John Mills. We're in my studio right now. It's November 2013. I worked on this painting for about three to 4 months, and I finally got what I wanted out of it. A little bit more. Every time I enter into my studio, I do my best. I feel like I'm going in for a boxing match, and I'm facing fighting against myself, I suppose. But I try to run my hardest, and I try to give everything I've got. I try to jump in and jump out and inhale and exhale with everything I've got. So with this painting, I feel quite successful in what I was trying to express. In the last year and a half, in particular, it's been a lot of life events have happened that have made it quite a road. I was forced to shut the gallery. My home was in a residential neighborhood, and I was running a business out of it, and then way too many people came, and so a persistent neighbor and so someone complained and forced the gallery to shut. So that ended up resulting in many events. I had this huge house that I couldn't afford to live in, so I converted my 3,700 square foot house into a duplex, and I rented out the main floor into a rental apartment. That took a while. That was a while, and then I decided to remove a section of my house and demolish that. So I did that. I just finished that recently, actually, so I can sell half of the land and then take the money from that, and then move forward with future projects with the intention of having some kind of church or art space where I'm able to show and create a place where art can be celebrated, and where theater and dance and live music and poetry and sculpture and painting and live painting and all these activities where all the artists can come together and express and share themselves in a sense of community and creativity. And that's what I'm trying to work towards at the moment. But in the studio right now, I'm working on, this is a piece I felt like I'll talk about it a bit more up close here, about the technical elements, I suppose. I've given you an idea as to what's gone on in my personal life, so it gives you a context of things. I'll just pick anything in particular. That's the height of the tripod, so it doesn't really matter too much. Okay. I tried to create depth, and I tried to create a sense of space that you're like a scar, or where you cut yourself, or where you or like a river, or some kind of sense of depth. So in this, I was thinking about really three painters in particular. One was Vermeer. Vermeer would go over and do a glazing technique where he would put an opaque color, a mixture of an opaque color on the ground or the foundational layer of the painting, and then he would build up the painting so that would filter through and give a sense of light from behind. So that's one of the things that I did. That's where, I guess you can see it right here, where you get that, and then you go up here and you see it more. And really it was just that white with that blue, it gave that opaqueness, so the painting. Then I was thinking about Rembrandt and how he would paint a portrait. About 18 years ago I went down to New Mexico and painted with this Dutch master, David Bornstein, and he showed me a few techniques and talked to me about Rembrandt and how he would create an eye socket, and in the shadows of just between the eyeball and the bridge of the nose, how he would put paint down and then scrape it away, and when he would scrape it away he would make it freckle. The painting would freckle. So here you can see how the scraping away, and it creates that sense of depth and shadow. And then you go up here, and then there's something else going on with Vermeer on the opaque, and then putting a transparent pigment over top of it that gives it that sense of luminosity from underneath, or that water effect and that sense of depth. And I was trying to work on that, those two kind of techniques of how to paint. And then I was thinking about Gerhard Richter, German painter who I just absolutely love. Recently been thinking about him a lot more, and using different tools and instruments to scrape away and create different kind of surfaces. So you get these also with all the renovations in my house and all the things going on in my home in terms of changing it so much. I've become a lot more I've had a drywall knife in my hand a lot more, so drywalling and doing those sorts of things. And really that's how I would just get a large, maybe I can find the one I was using. Where is it? Well, my studio's a mess and kind of embarrassed about it, but not really. But I'll try to find it if I can. Oh, here it is. So this is probably the most B-rated kind of art explanation you'll ever get. It was I just used something like this, and then I would scrape it right across and remove and kind of create and destroy the painting both at the same time. And then when the paint, I would remove all that paint. At the end I decided to create these kind of bars. So there was this, I would kind of pull and leave the paint there. I'd pull it enough to make it so that it was not a sticker, but it was connected, so it wasn't like putting a sticker on the fridge, but actually making it a painting by integrating the under layer with the top layer. And then I would pull the paint to have these kind of icicle effects to give a sense of kind of like eyelashes on mascara. And I repeated this throughout, and then I put these little bars and other little details in it just to give a sense of structure. Really, the painting itself has a deep sense of structure where it is, so much of it is going horizontally where the paint is being pulled across, and then it goes from top to bottom as well. So the painting will work from north and south and east and west, and the painting will just, the structure will kind of expand in all manners. And so that's kind of what I was thinking about Uh, it was a unique time for using the this color palette was very new for me. Took me a long time. Not sure how it was. I just added. I would get a large, not a large pot, but I'd use this container, and I'd just make a lot of paint in it. But when I made the paint, or the mixture of paint, I would use yellow, a cadmium yellow, a little bit of Orlin, and I would mix them, but not really mix them, so that they were together, and they would blend, but they're still clumps, so that when I would put the paint on the canvas, there would be like a bleeding out, kind of like cream cheese, kind of an effect where the colors would not be one homogeneous color, but a blending of colors. I felt it was important in using the palette. I was using the red, the Madder Lake. It was like an alizarin crimson. That's the dark red in the middle, which is a transparent pigment. The blue mixed with the white is an opaque, gives that kind of, but really it was red, yellow, and blue, variations of the three primary colors to give this kind of vibrancy. And I also worked on it for so long that I wanted to really make the painting like come right off the edge. So the edge of the painting has this large amounts of paint on the way on the edges, and really I wanted to. I've had some people frame my work and really kind of where I felt it was very caged, and the way that it's been framed I really didn't agree with, and that kind of, well, that pissed me off, to be honest. I felt like rather than the painting being naked, I felt that the painting had a jacket on it, and you couldn't, it kind of confined it in a way that it really, well, it irritated me a lot. So for the last couple of years I've been putting slabs of paint on the edge of the canvas, so that a future purchaser or person who homes the work has to be a bit more creative and deliberate, and if they are to frame the work itself, to honor the edge of the painting, because really I want the painting to feel this kind of sense of infinite, kind of where it's reaching out and it's feathering off of the canvas, so that you get this kind of sense of freedom where it's really just migrating off the canvas itself. Well, not sure what else to say, but I'm sure I could go on forever, but I'll try to keep it short and sweet. So thank you so much, and thank you.